be the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
I'm Christine Lisi. As was the case at Bengals mandatory minicamp last month, star pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, a no-show today. He did not report with the rest of the team for training camp. The 30-year-old, entering the final year of his current contract, has been seeking a long-term deal, putting him in line with the NFL's other leading pass rushers. Yesterday, team president Mike Brown, among other things, said dealing with Hendrickson in contract talks is not so easy sometimes. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
Dealing without him also is going to be not so easy for that defense and that team. You take a defense that struggled with Trey Hendrickson, leading the league in sacks, and take him off that defense, good luck without him on the defensive line.
Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu announced his retirement on the eve of the first training camp practice. The announcement a surprise as he did attend the team's veteran minicamp. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford will be limited to begin training camp as he deals with some back soreness, but he is expected to be ready for the start of the season.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up on Wednesday, the ESPN Radio Rankem Series rolls along. Who are the top 5 offenses in the NFL? The answers might surprise you. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, welcome in. After further review here on a Tuesday, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Scone's on his final vacation of the year, and boy, did he pick a good day to hit that up. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and we sure are glad that you are. We have an absolute jam-packed show that got even more jam-packed about an hour or so ago. Tyrann Mathieu has retired from the NFL and from the New Orleans Saints. You know, we have plenty of thoughts on that. LSU, they're getting ever so closer to training camp, and want to talk a little bit about the Tigers and their upcoming season. Shots flying at the SEC from Big Ten Media Days and ACC Media Days. Have thoughts on all of that. Blake Baker was on OTB this morning. There's a ton to get to, but let us go ahead and begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
No surprise where we will begin. Tyrann Mathieu has called it a career. 12 seasons in the NFL. Obviously, his time at LSU, the last 3 of those 12 seasons coming with the New Orleans Saints, a Super Bowl champion, a 3-time All-Pro, a 3-time Pro Bowler. What a career for Tyrann Mathieu. Wow. I was caught very off guard by this news today. I think we all knew Tyrann Mathieu was going to retire a Saint. Tyrann Mathieu had made that abundantly clear that that's what he wanted to do, especially when he signed that last extension that was going to carry him through the 2025 season. And it, by all accounts, like, okay, this was going to be kind of the last ride, right? It wasn't stated, but it was kind of just understood. Tyrann was 32 years old a season ago. There wasn't much left there. He was expected to be one of your starting safeties. alongside Justin Reed, a guy he had a lot of familiarity with, and you were going to go forth into 2025 with that as your defensive backfield and feel pretty good about it if you're the New Orleans Saints. And on the day they report to training camp, this news comes down. Really, minutes or so before Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore both took to the podium to officially kind of open Saints training camp. And Mickey Loomis, when he met with the media, had this to say right off the top about Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, we had a little advance notice on that, so it wasn't like we were surprised today. I'm a little surprised, but we had some advance notice and just have so much respect for Tyron and what he's accomplished. And, I mean, he's a legendary Louisiana player, legendary NFL player. Really appreciate his time with us. He was fantastic, and I don't have enough good things to say about him. I have a lot of good things to say about him.
I think we all do. Let's put the Saints portion of this aside just for a minute. And let's talk about Tyrann Mathieu, the player, the person, and his career. Because I think Mickey Loomis said it best. He's a legend. Like, he is a legendary Louisiana football player. He played at a high level at each level of football in Louisiana, whether it was high school at St. Aug, as you know, under-recruited coming out of St. Aug, but ends up at LSU and bursts onto the scene as a freshman in 2010. And really, look, don't get me wrong, LSU was extremely good in 2010 and 2011. But Tyrann Mathieu was as much of a part as thrusting LSU into the national spotlight in those seasons as anything. The Honey Badger. Like, there are certain plays you think of when you think of LSU, of Tyrann Mathieu's LSU career. And it wasn't just us here in Louisiana. It was nationally. Everyone tuned into every LSU football game over those 2 years, specifically 2011, to see what extraordinary play Tyrann Mathieu was going to make, because he made an extraordinary play every damn game. He fundamentally changed games for LSU. You can think of the punt return against Arkansas, the 92-yarder. That pulled LSU even. They overcame a 14-0 deficit, and they never looked back in that game. The SEC championship game a week later, same deal. LSU's down in that game by double digits. The defense is holding them in it, and it's Tyrann Mathieu's punt return against Georgia that really got LSU off and running in that game from a scoring standpoint. The sack fumble touchdown against Kentucky. I always go back to those Cotton Bowl in the end of the 2010 season, the diving interception. Tyrann Mathieu won the Bednarik Award for the nation's best defender. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist. You could not talk LSU football without talking about the Honey Badger and his journey up to that point. But it was at LSU where his journey gets even more complicated, but even that much more important and inspiring and interesting. We all know the off-the-field issues for Tyrann Mathieu. He's been extremely open and honest about those ever since being dismissed from the team at LSU, and the very difficult decision that Les Miles had to make to dismiss Tyrann Mathieu before his junior season, when LSU was still one of the perennial contenders for a national title going into 2012. But it was what Tyrann Mathieu did after that happened, where he turned his life around, got the right people in his life, all things that he's talked about. Takes that year off out of football to really kind of do that, ends up a third-round draft pick of the Cardinals. Spends time with the Texans for a season, then goes to Kansas City, where he becomes Super Bowl champion. And returns to New Orleans, where it all began, and was a very productive player. Tyrann Mathieu, in his 3 seasons with the New Orleans Saints, logged over 220 tackles, all after 30 years old, 10 interceptions. He never lost that part of his game, that Honey Badger part of his game. He never lost it. In Tyrann Mathieu's first season in 2022 with the Saints, That was his most productive year from a tackle standpoint. 91 tackles that year, most of his career. Did the production wane a little bit down the stretch? Sure. But for the most part, or not for the most part, he was healthy in New Orleans. He played 17 games each of his 3 years. And while the Saints weren't a great team in any of those years, and man, that's something that definitely ate at Tyron. You could hear it just whenever he would speak to the media, and really not just the media, in any setting, about really wanting to win in New Orleans. He gave you something to just root for no matter what every Sunday, because that's your guy. It's the hometown kid playing for the hometown team and having his most productive year doing so. He is a Louisiana football legend and forever will be. You know, a lot of people might look at Tyrann Mathieu's career in the NFL and go, oh, it was good. Like, it was solid. Longevity, won a Super Bowl, the All-Pros, the Pro Bowl is great. Everyone here is going to look at Tyrann Mathieu's career in the NFL and revere it, as you should, because it's the culmination of what was a very inspiring journey that Tyrann Mathieu went on. And we all saw it each step of the way because he was here for the ups, for the downs, and then for the culmination. And it should be revered. He's one of the greatest football players to ever come out of the state of Louisiana. He will be a Saints, up in the Saints Hall of Fame, I do believe, one day. Obviously, that's going to happen for LSU. Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, probably too. This is where Tyrann Mathieu belongs. And it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome that his career was able to end back where it all started. Not a lot of guys get that opportunity. Tyrann Mathieu did. And along the way, he supplied us with countless memories. One of the easiest guys ever to root for. And I'll tell you this, as much of a joy as it was watching Tyrann Mathieu do the extraordinary things on the football field, it was a greater and bigger joy to root for that guy every step of the way because he makes it so easy. Hats off. A major congratulations. Well-deserved retirement for the Honey Badger. And he's not going anywhere. That's a guy that's going to continue to be around at LSU. I mean, he already has. He's already donated back to the program. All of those things. You know you'll see him there. You know you'll see him around the Saints. You know, people will remember him mainly, probably really for the run in Kansas City because he was able to win the Super Bowl, but also as a Cardinal. Everyone here is going to really remember his time with New Orleans because, again, back where it all began. Congratulations to Tyrann Mathieu, man. A great career, 12 years in the league, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. Just magnificent. Best of luck with what's next for him. Obviously, we have to talk about what is next for the New Orleans Saints because that does matter. They open training camp tomorrow, and now they are down a safety, and that's significant. Have some names for you to potentially look out for. We'll let you hear a little bit more from Mickey Loomis about Tyrann Mathieu and those things as we go forward. But wanted to spend that first segment really just reflecting on Tyrann and the career he had specifically in this state at 3 different levels. And it was legendary. So congrats to Tyrann Mathieu on a well-deserved retirement after 12 years in the NFL. All right, we're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. We will look at what's next for the New Orleans Saints. Stay here. It's AFR.
Brought to you by
After
Action
further
Industries,
review.
proud partner of LSU Athletics, actionindinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. but also they know who they are. There's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. Action, INC.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. One of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
All right, welcome back in after further review here on a Tuesday presented by Sunshine. Musso in for Moscona. Obviously, we're just pushing off the dock from here and really diving heavy into the Tyrann Mathieu news. Of course, Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu hanging it up, calling it a career, retiring today officially after 12 NFL seasons. Spent the first segment kind of talking about Tyrann's career in general, time at LSU with the Saints, obviously the Super Bowl championship with the Chiefs and whatnot. We'll shift here a little bit to now what's next for the New Orleans Saints. Also, just a note, Ross Jackson is going to join the show now. We've added him at 5 o'clock. So if you have to leave, come back over at 5 here. Ross's take, a couple more hours, see what Ross has been able to gather and whatnot on the situation, where the Saints might go, and all of those things, and just kind of, what it means for the team and the immediacy, and of course his reaction. So be here for that. Obviously, straight up 5 o'clock, Ross Jackson will be here to weigh in on the Tyrann Mathieu news as well. Mickey Loomis today, I met with the media to kind of kick off training camp, and he talked about the character of Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I just think, he's one of those guys that just commands respect by his actions and his deeds. He's got great message, he's very thoughtful, intelligent, super smart player, about all the right things, and his experiences in life, and he's just fantastic.
That's one of the things that makes Tyrann so easy to root for, is how open and honest he's been about everything throughout his journey that we've all seen play out in the public eye. And I mean, and he's talked about how much that impacted his journey as well and led to some of the decisions. And but I mean, said it at the end of last segment, he's just, as much as you enjoyed tuning in to watch Tyrann Mathieu play football, I enjoyed rooting for him just even more, because he made it so easy. Would love to take plenty of your reaction as well. Get into the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Give us your reaction on Tyrann Mathieu, calling it a career, whether it's an LSU memory, whether it's New Orleans Saints, whatever it may be, a personal interaction you had with Tyrann. Again, Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can tweet me as well at Musso Matthew, or X, whatever. We can get to that throughout plenty of the show. Right now, though, let's talk about what is next for the New Orleans Saints at safety, because while we can celebrate Tyrann Mathieu for the career that he had and him being able to move on, and that's all well-deserved, it does leave a hole for the New Orleans Saints right at the doorstep of training camp, and that is safety. It's not a spot where the Saints were particularly deep to begin with, but now you're even thinner, because that's a 12-year vet who had amassed 220 tackles for you in 3 seasons and was all over the field forcing turnovers as well. Like, that's a hole. Justin Reed, provided he stays healthy, is going to slide in, no problem, starting safety. He's got one of those spots. But what do you do next? And Mickey Loomis was asked at his media availability here on Tuesday about what they do at safety. Will they go out and sign a guy? And Mickey Loomis, in no uncertain terms, said yes. I mean, he kind of did it in his own way, where he's like, yeah, we'll see what's out there. Okay, Mick, of course you will. You're totally going to go out there and sign a free agent safety, because the options that you have aren't maybe the best. You're looking, what's left now is a rookie in Jonas Sanker, who we'll come back to, Jordan Howden, JT Gray. For all intents and purposes, that's what you have left at safety. JT Gray has mainly been a special teams just ace for the New Orleans Saints. He's very good at his role there, and he's adored as well, I think, by Saints fans a bunch. He just has not seen a lot of snaps actually on defense for the New Orleans Saints. Jordan Howden, at times throughout his career, has been a very productive player for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he really kind of burst on the scene. It's okay, wait, is he kind of next? But you've seen that not necessarily totally play out. When I look at guys who are available, the first one that's going to jump off the page is Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons is a veteran in the NFL, but he's a guy that the New Orleans Saints already went after last offseason. His name was thrown about plenty a season ago when the Saints were looking for safety help. 9 years in the league, ultimately, he ends up with the Atlanta Falcons. It didn't necessarily go as expected there from a production standpoint wise, and he remains unsigned. But that's a guy that the Saints have already gone after once. They're definitely familiar with the player from their flirtations with him a season ago, but also playing against him twice, when he was with the Falcons. He is older. He's fixing to be 32 years old. So you wonder how much he has left in the tank. But again, this isn't a long-term fix for the New Orleans Saints. It would be a Band-Aid, and it's not even to say that he'd come in and immediately be a starter for the Saints. Jordan Whitehead is another one. Oh, I should say one more thing about Simmons. He has familiarity with Brandon Staley. They overlapped for a year when Staley was in Denver. Now, the caveat there is Staley was the outside linebackers coach, so he didn't have much dealings with Justin Simmons, but was in the same building as the guy, sees how he goes about his business, when he's on the team. All of that, I think, does matter. The familiarity with the player matters there. Jordan Whitehead has spent a bulk of his 7 years in the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, man, was a very productive player for Tampa Bay in his time there. Had a little hiatus from the Bucs, went to the Jets. But that's a guy, Saints are obviously very familiar with him as a player because, again, as time with the Buccaneers. He's a little on the younger side, is Jordan Whitehead, 28 years old, inching towards 29, but still has a lot left there. That's one I would really look at. And to be honest with you, a guy like Whitehead, his previous estimated value was $4.5 million. He still remains unsigned at this point before training camp. You could probably even get that down a little bit. So you're looking at a guy under 30 who you could probably get for cheaper than maybe market value would have for him. That's an interesting one. And then there's a trio of guys with Saints ties who are all veterans. Marcus Williams, Von Bell, Marcus May. I know none of those names are really going to excite everybody, but why I look at that and go, okay, is because of another player that's already on the team. If you go out and you get a Von Bell or a Marcus May, they're both in their 30s, early 30s, but they're both in their 30s. But they have familiarity with the Saints organization having played here. Obviously, that was a different era of Saints football than where they are right now. But they're still familiar with the organization and how it likes to operate. Same goes for Marcus Williams. And as I said, I know when I mentioned those names, specifically Williams and Marcus May, a lot of Saints fans are going to cringe, and I totally understand that. I think if you look at those guys and that's the route you go, you're not bringing them in to be a starter. That's where you turn your focus to a guy like Jonas Sanker. And this is a massive opportunity now for Jonas Sanker to wedge and earn a starting opportunity with the New Orleans Saints. And that now really kind of, outside of the quarterback competition, really moves up into the top 5 of storylines for training camp here in 2025. Jonas Sanker, 3rd-round pick, top 100 guy out of Virginia. Was a 2-time first-team All-ACC player there. He's got the size you like, you kind of from a safety standpoint. And somebody the Saints really liked and felt fortunate to get, quite honestly, when they did in the 3rd round. The reviews for him out of OTAs and minicamp, albeit it was 7-on-7 basically, were very good. We had Ross Jackson on, a few weeks ago when I was filling in for Matt, and Ross had a piece up about how Jonas Sanker could get himself into a starting position as a rookie, and that was already with Tyrann Mathieu and Justin Reed on the team. Now with the pads coming on in training camp, you're really, really going to get a major look at Jonas Sanker. And I think, honestly, the best case scenario for the New Orleans Saints, because think about what they're trying to do. Mickey Loomis. when he met with the media on Tuesday, talked about a reset. He didn't want to call it a rebuild, but they are open to a reset now that Derek's not, playing anymore. That's opened themselves up. Okay, Mickey, your quarterback's gone. You're starting over at that position. That's pretty much a rebuild. But there were the other signs too, making all 9 draft picks, really trying to get younger. Some of the cap-saving moves that they made, they're trending toward that direction. For me, now that Tyrann Mathieu has retired, the best case scenario, I think, for the New Orleans Saints is Jonas Sanker beats out Jordan Howden, JT Gray, earns that starting spot as a rookie, and you go sign somebody that has ties to the organization or a veteran safety that you don't need to really come in, that you can just come in and really be that depth piece. And that brings a whole nother, crop of safeties into the discussion for the New Orleans Saints. Because the sooner you can get a guy like Jonas Sanker on the field, the sooner he can get out there and show what he's got, the sooner you get even further down the road, further on the track of rebuilding. You get immediately younger. And if that's a player that you felt fortunate to have available for you at pick 93 in the 3rd round, getting him on the field as early as possible and letting him go through the growing pains to where maybe as a second-year player, he can take the jump and become one of the better safeties in the league. That's what you're hoping for, obviously. For me, that's the best-case scenario. That's what I'm rooting. They're going to go sign somebody in free agency because you have to from a depth standpoint. You can't go into this with 3 safeties. But, man, give me the young guy. Let Jonas Sanker show what he's made of, win that job, learn from a veteran in Justin Reed as well, playing side by side from him, and be positioned to hopefully take a huge jump his second year, and you just go further down the road of getting younger. That's how the Saints are going to get back to where they hope they can get to. Jonas Sanker's the key for me. So whether it's a guy like Justin Simmons, whether it's like the 3 former Saints that are still available, hopefully you don't have to ask them to come in too much because Jonas Sanker has taken full advantage of this opportunity. He is right at the top of the list now of players to watch in Saints training camp after Tyrann Mathieu calls it a career after 12 years in the league. All right, we'll grab a break, come back on the other side. We'll switch gears a little bit here. Some shots were fired at the SEC from Big Ten and ACC media days. We'll talk about those next here on AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. And I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. glowresources.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. They got Rouse's everywhere, y'all. Speaking of what, you need to save some money? Go to Rouse's. Get the weekly ad. Go to Rouse's.com. You can click on the weekly ad. You're going to shop for your groceries. You're on a budget. Rouse's is going to help you save. Or just go to Rouse's and look for the Rouse's branded products, because one of the most impressive things about Rouse's is whenever they have that Rouse's the R logo with the circle around it. If you see that Rouse's branded logo, so their products, they always do whatever they can to source locally. Whatever ingredients they can source locally in Louisiana, they do it for their products. And they're going to save you money. Great quality products to save you money, and always a friendly atmosphere as well. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
All right. Big Ten and ACC Media Days both kicked off here on Tuesday. And as you might expect, because, of course, with everything going on in college football, the SEC was brought up at both. And, look, I never really stumped for the conference. It's just not my deal. I hope LSU wins every game they play. I don't really care what the rest of the league does. But I had time today. So I was like, okay, let's kind of do this a little bit. Let's start with Tony Petitti. Tony Petitti, and I have something on here later actually to talk about him as well with his comments on the college football playoff, because my man is just staunchly against 5+11. And yeah, he makes some good points with some others, but we'll put the college football playoff discussion to the side, since then, until then. I'm not going to fault him too much for this because it was a very leading question. He was asked about the SEC handing out pamphlets to media at spring meetings and saying it's the best football conference. Like, you don't really get any more leading than that. Hey, what do you think of this? They say they're better than you. What do you really want him to say? And you know what? He really took a pretty high road approach. Quote, "We just stand by what we do in the Big Ten. The national results have shown that over the last couple of seasons." Obviously, the Big Ten winning the 2 titles. So he snuck a little shot in there after. I mean, I get it. Sports are very what have you done for me lately Like, I understand that. Whether it's coaching or result, I mean, any of it. It's what have you done for me lately? But if you're going to count national titles, I wouldn't do that with the SEC quite yet. Are we going to forget about the run the conference was on before the last 2 years, where it was either Clemson or Ohio State, Florida State too, and then every other year was an SEC team, and a lot of different SEC teams. When you go back the last quarter century, maybe let's not do that quite yet. So that's all I really want to say on Tony Petitti. Rhett Lashley, however, I found this hilarious. Did you see this? Rhett Lashley went out of his way to take a shot at the SEC today. And it's just comical. Because comparing the Big Ten to the SEC is one thing. And there's merit there. Comparing the ACC to the SEC is just flat out laughable. And Rhett Lashley was talking about it being any given week in the ACC. Man, you could face the last place team and they can come up and beat you. You really got to be ready. More on that momentarily, by the way. And that, they had 13 bowl teams and a handful of 9-win teams. You had 2. Three or four 10-win teams. You did, 3 10-win teams and an 11-win teams. That's great. It's any given week. And then this is where he goes out of his way. Says, everybody wants to talk about depth in the conference. The SEC, since 1964, it's been the same 6 teams that have won their championship. 6. That's it. No one different. Quote, that's top heavy to me, not depth. Here's the problem. That is laughable because it is just such a cherry-picked stat. And this is where I was like, you know what? Yeah, I got time today for this. Because in actuality, I really don't actually care. But depth of conferences is always bandied about. And it's always something like that. Just some cherry-picked stat. Let's go back to 1964 because it's the last season we can go back to where one of these 6 teams didn't win the SEC. Yeah, no wonder that might seem top-heavy. You picked the range where it's top-heavy. And you had to go all the way back to 1964. You want to know how easy that is to do and how lazy that is to do? Watch this. Since 2011, Clemson and Florida State have won the ACC championship every year but one. That's top-heavy to me, not depth. See how effortless and easy that was? When you want to cherry pick things, sure. But since you want to talk about any given Sunday, Rhett Lashley, or any given Saturday, let's do that. It's the last place team. The last place team can beat anybody in the ACC. You remember who the last place team in the ACC was in 2024? That was Florida State. They went 1-7 in the league. You know who their one win was? Cal, who went 2-6. Boy, I'm sure those top teams in the ACC are really shaking in their boots having to play a Florida State team that was replacing an undefeated roster who should have been in the college football playoff, their quarterback, all of that, and just had so many question marks. How about the Cal Bears? They went 2-6. They upset anybody worth it in the ACC this year? No, they didn't. They didn't. Cal's. Here, I'm gonna pull this up just so I make sure I have it correct. Cal's 2 wins in the ACC a season ago. They're 2 wins. That's all they had at the bottom of the league. Their 2 were Wake Forest and Stanford. Stanford, by the way, who finished 2-6. When you actually want to talk about depth and you talk about any given Saturday, how about Oklahoma, who finished 2-6, just like Cal, dominating Alabama, who's been the standard bearer of the country for how many years, when they were a 3-touchdown underdog. That's depth of a league. How about Vanderbilt, who's just the perennial cellar dweller, not just of the SEC, of college football, hanging 40 on Alabama? Or Vanderbilt beating Virginia Tech from the ACC. How about the number of draft picks from each league? That's not even close. That's a good way to show depth. Recruiting rankings, the talent you've brought in, the talent you've developed and put into the league. You know, the 80 plus some odd draft picks from the SEC every year. Those don't all come from LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Texas. Like, they don't all come from those schools, or the 6 that have won it since 1964. It's just laughable, because when you take such a cherry-picked stat like that and try to make a case, when there's so many other accurate ways you could determine the depth of a league. Here's another one for you. How about bowls? I get it. Bowls don't mean much anymore, but we're playing on the same timeline here as Rhett Lashley, his 1964 timeline. Mississippi State. No one's ever going to, consider them powerhouse in the SEC, right? No, they're a team that finishes at the bottom of the league regularly. Well, since 1964, Mississippi State has been to 23 bowl games, and they're 13-10 in those. So that's them facing other opponents. The SEC had a winning record in their Power 4 non-conference games this year. Each team played one. You got a winning record there by 3 or more games. As a matter of fact, you're above 500. That's a pretty good judge of depth in a league. And here's why the champion aspect of it's stupid and not an accurate way of measuring depth of a league. Let's go back to Mississippi State. In 2014, Mississippi State was the number 1 team in the country for the majority of the season. They did not play for an SEC championship. The only way that happens is depth in a league. Any given Saturday in the ACC, SMU turned the ball over 6 times against Duke and won that game because Duke's an okay football team. You see 2-3 turnovers make a difference in the SEC. Whereas SMU went and beat Duke, turning it over 6 times. Okay. Chill out, Rhett Lashley. See what happens when you cherry pick things? It's real easy to poke a hole in your argument just looking at a season ago when you wanted to tout the depth of the league. By the way, the SEC had, he mentioned, the teams with the 8 wins, the 9 wins, the 10 wins, all of that. The SEC had 8 different teams. Half the league win 9 or more games. Get out of here. Jeez, dude. What are you talking about, Rhett Lashley? Okay. Now, I will go back to being, don't care about the rest of the conference. LSU, go beat everybody, and I want nothing good for anyone else there. Because ultimately, I'm not. It's just funny how everyone's there. And that's how you know. Like that, you want to, the true sign of greatness is by how much you're hated. And everybody's always got the SEC's name in their mouth an awful lot. That's the true measure of greatness. You can always tell how great you are by how much you're booed away from home, right? Well, the SEC's booed an awful lot. And everybody's ready to just take their shot whenever they can. That shows you just how great the Southeastern Conference really is. All right, we're going to grab a break. I actually didn't even intend to go that long on that. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, close out hour number 1 here on AFR. Maybe get to some of your reaction on the Tyrann Mathieu news. That's next. Stick around.
AFR.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. on the Baton Rouge General Campus. I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center, state-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is in fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1 here of AFR. Man, it's been a busy show, obviously, with the Tyrann Mathieu news. Jason Loop on Twitter sends in, says, Musso, on the bright side, now Tyrann Mathieu can come coach DBs at LSU with Corey Raymond. Says, imagine being a high school DB and those two show up to recruit you. That's something I'm going to be very interested to see for Tyrann Mathieu. I think if he was ever offered the opportunity to coach at LSU in any capacity, I think he would love to do that. I mean, Tyrann has made no bones about his love for LSU. Again, as we said earlier in the show, I mean, he's given back to the program. He's donated to Players Lounge and things of that nature already. I think what's going to be interesting is to see if that's the route that Tyrann wants to go. If that's something he actually pursues, not just at LSU, but in general coaching. I think that's a guy who could bring immense value to a staff. I mean, he just has those certain things that you can't teach in terms of leadership as well. So, I mean, I think that is absolutely a guy, and I do think if LSU offered him a job in some capacity, he would absolutely jump at it to take it. It's just, is that going to be the route LSU wants to go? And also Tyrann. I mean, this is a guy who can now kind of go be a father for a little bit now and not have to, focus so much on football. So, I mean, that's the question that you have to first answer. But, man, yeah, that would absolutely be exciting for sure, seeing Tyrann Mathieu on staff potentially at LSU now in the future, now that his NFL career is done. So, y'all keep some of the reaction coming in here. We got to grab a break, close out the hour here. We'll come back on the other side. Sports Center to get you caught up on the national headlines, and then we'll talk some LSU football. There's a piece at ESPN.com today. LSU can win the national championship if. I have some thoughts on the ifs for LSU. I don't agree with most of them. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. When we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bengal star defensive end Trey Hendrickson sticking with his game plan until he gets a new contract. Did not report with the rest of the team for training camp today. He's entering the final year of his current contract, wants a long-term deal that would put him in line with the NFL's other leading pass rushers. In addition, first-round pick defensive end Shamar Stewart did not report due to his own contract dispute. Cincinnati cannot afford to be without them, explains ESPN NFL analyst Andrew Hawkins.
These are impact starters. I mean, Hendrickson is like the guy on your defense. And when you go with the first-round pick, this is a guy that you expect to come in and start and make a big difference on defense. And you're missing both of them. Without them on this defense, yes, they're going to start slow, but more than that, this will and could derail the season. The Cincinnati Bengals playoff hopes are done if these guys don't get in the building.
Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin, also entering the final season of his contract, wants a new deal, did not report to camp today. Rams QB Matthew Stafford will be limited to start camp as he deals with back soreness, but is expected to be ready for the start of the season. And baseball, San Francisco's Rafael Devers will make his first ever start at first base tonight against the Braves.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 2 here after further review, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Moscona's on vacay. He's back Monday. Last vacay of the year for him. We have had a jam-packed show so far with the Tyrann Mathieu news. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and we are very grateful that you are along for the ride here as well. Still plenty to come. We'll get back to the New Orleans Saints. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu, we'll talk plenty about that still. Ross Jackson will be here straight up 5 o'clock to react, and we'll talk about where the Saints go next. We'll also give a bit of a preview of training camp as they reported here on Tuesday. They open camp on Wednesday. So there's just plenty. Blake Baker was on off the bench this morning with Flynn and Hester and Flynn. So plenty to go here still on this Tuesday. Did want to start this hour with some LSU football. So it's starting to happen now more, and you saw this at SEC Football Media Days, where LSU is moving more and more toward the front of the hype train nationally. This isn't altogether new. I mean, earlier in this offseason, even through spring, after they brought in the portal class, you saw a lot of guys, a lot of national media members start to project LSU to make the playoff in 2025. I think that is largely what we all expect. I know I expect LSU to be in the college football playoff here in 2025, and it's kind of one of those things where, man, if not now, when for Brian Kelly. So they are going to be included in every single write-up, every conversation about playoff teams and what if. And I think that's the question, right? Everyone understands, okay, LSU should be in the college football playoff. But what everybody wants to know is, that's great. How can LSU win the college football playoff? Bill Connolly over at ESPN put together a piece highlighting 14 teams in the playoff discussion and the what ifs that have to come to fruition for those teams to win it all. He broke it down into 3 categories: teams with 2 ifs, teams with 3 ifs, teams with 4 ifs. LSU fell into the 4 ifs category, which might surprise plenty of you. But it's because, again, nationally, there's still a lot of questions about LSU. Reading through this, I agree with one of them. I mean, let me not say it that way. That's not the right way to say it. Agree with is not the right way to say it. There is one of these out of the 4 that Bill Connolly laid out that, in my opinion, aren't easily debunked. He even went as so far as to debunk one of his own. The first one is if new star receivers emerge, and then in parentheses he's put as usual. Because new star receivers are going to emerge at LSU. You did the work in the transfer portal. Yes, what is it? The top 4 pass catchers from a year ago were gone. But Aaron Anderson's back. Chris Hilton is back. And if he stays healthy, you saw what he's made of down the stretch, really in those last 2 games, the Oklahoma game and the bowl game, where, man, you fully saw it on display, the deep threat that he is. You feel great with that there. You bring in Nick Anderson, who could be a 1,000-yard guy for you potentially. Barry and Brown, who everybody's tried to tab as the breakout player for LSU. That's not even talking about Kyle Parker. That's not even talking about Trey'Dez Green from the tight end spot, who, again, the last 2 games of the season, really down the stretch, you saw what he could be. Bauer Sharp as well. You look at a guy like Destin Hill, who they brought in and featured plenty in the red zone during spring. Like, that's a given. It would be more of a shock if that doesn't happen. I think everybody understands LSU receivers are going to emerge. You've done nothing but surround Nuss with weapons, and that should really help this offense. So that's an easy one to just kind of, like, if there's any school in the country that deserves the freaking benefit of the doubt at the receiver position, it's LSU. Number 2. If the rebuilt lines hold up. He goes into the defensive line and the offensive line. Talk about the offensive line here in a second. I think the defensive line has a chance to be a strength for LSU. I love the additions that you made on the edge for potential, and I think they are set up for big seasons. A guy like Patrick Payton, a guy like Butler, a guy like Jack Pyburn, who really is focused in on his pass rush. And then, oh, by the way, you have a guy like Gabe Relaford returning. Just look at the production you got out of Braden Swinson and Savion Jones a year ago. Those 2 combined for over 100 tackles and 13 sacks. Now you add in a guy like Bernard Gooden on the interior, Sadir Mitchell, you get Jacoby and Guillory back, Ahmad Bro, Dom McKinley. They had to play a bunch as freshmen because of the injury to Guillory. They're all back. Like, I think the defensive line, end to end, can be a real strength for LSU. Yes, it looks rebuilt, but there's a lot of veteran presence there. Whether it's Pyburn or Payton. Again, McKinley and Bro having to play as much as they did. Guillory coming back. More on that momentarily. So, like, that's not even really an if for me. That's an expectation for me. That's one of your strengths. The offensive line, I'm going to hear you on that. But it's also not as dire as Connolly made it out to seem in his piece. The bulk of his rebuilt lines thing was about the defensive line. And the last bit of it says, but the O-line will start all or mostly sophomores and redshirt freshmen. Yikes. And that's just not true. Like, that's flat out wrong. How quickly we forget about Braylon Moore, a redshirt junior who projects as LSU's starting center coming over in the portal from Virginia Tech, as well as Josh Thompson, a fifth-year senior from the Big Ten in Northwestern. Both of those guys, I would be fall over stunned right now if they're not starters on LSU's offensive line week 1 against Clemson. And then, okay, you can look at, well, what about DJ Chester? He's like a redshirt sophomore, sure, but he started every game last year for you. Your problem spot there is replacing Will Campbell and Emory Jones. It's the 2 tackle spots. You should feel plenty good at guard and center for LSU. You're either going to have a returning starter there in DJ Chester at center, or you're going to bring in a veteran like Moore who you brought in to play the position. Now, I'm not going to completely wave away the offensive line. It is actually my chief concern about LSU this season, that in the secondary. But it's also a work in progress still. And it will be where all eyes turn to most in fall camp. I'm going to take you back to the spring. This was towards the end of spring. Brian Kelly was asked where they were in determining an offensive line. Because remember, LSU rotated so much. They sent out so many different combinations. You know, Braylon Moore would run with the first team one day, run with the second team the next. You'd have DJ Chester at the center spot. Josh Thompson played tackle and some guard on the second and first team. It was just constant in and out. And Brian Kelly after spring was asked, how close are they to naming a starting offensive line?
The mandate was not to go through the spring and name 5 guys. If we went in with that goal, we would not be anywhere near that. But that wasn't the goal. The goal was to get guys in position where we could find out what the best fit was for them individually and for us as a unit and then as LSU as a football team. So it's been moving guys around and finding where the right fits are. And then we'll go into camp and probably say, all right, through the first 8-9 practices will give us some time to make the decision on what that unit is and then build continuity through the back end of preseason camp with the starting 5.
So there you go. This is where they're going to determine that. And I would be fall over stunned, as I said, if Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson aren't starting on LSU's offense. That's why you brought them here, was to start. So you weren't going with just sophomores and redshirt freshmen. Does that mean LSU's offensive line is going to be great? No. And that's why it's chief concern among many. But it's not as dire as it's made out to be there. The other 2 kind of go hand in hand. We'll start with if the risks are better rewarded. And here Conley talks a lot about Blake Baker and the havoc that he wants to create and risking getting burned, and it kind of forces, mistakes because you weren't as great at the back end of your defense. With the upgrades in the front and the back end, you got Perkins and Weeks back. That's what he highlights. What can that look like? LSU's risks are going to be better rewarded, in my opinion, because they're going to get home more this year. And LSU was pretty darn good a season ago. They were top 30 in the nation in sacks. Braden Swinson at one point was on pace to break LSU's single season sack record. He ended up with 8.5. But now, when you look at this and you look at what they're positioned to do on the defensive line in general, moving Perkins to the star, just look at the defensive line. With Kyle Williams coming in, how often have you heard it? Oh, it's much more what Blake Baker wants to do. They can create havoc from that spot. It just gives them another guy, like a Bernard Gooden. He's much more athletic, guy who can rush the passer. Dom McKinley fits into that mold. Hell, even a guy like Jacobian Guillory, who's a tank of a human. They call him Tank. Before he got hurt, leading into the 24 season, Brian Kelly's like, y'all are going to be surprised how much he's in the backfield. He's a freak athlete. So just in that regard, your risks are going to pay off more because I think LSU's going to get home more this season. But the one that you just can't debunk is the one that goes hand in hand with the risk being rewarded, and that's if transfers upgrade the secondary. And that is the biggest question on LSU's defense. It is the biggest question on LSU's defense. You feel real good about it. Bringing in Mansour Delane, likely to hold down one of the starting cornerback spots for LSU. He can play a little safety if need be. You bring in A.J. Halsey, who is an all-conference player at Houston in the Big 12. To Marcus Cooley, who is, as Brian Kelly put it, a safety that can play nickel. That's massive. You have a healthy Jordan Gilbert as well, but those three transfers have to play a massive, massive role. They have to do that for LSU to reach their goal of winning the national championship. Like, that is the one you can't dispute. You were not good enough back there. A lot of it was talent. Yes, Gilbert's injury plays into that as well. But you have completely remade that room. And your success defensively hinges on that. Because I think you're going to be, I've established, I think you're going to be really good on the defensive line. I think you're going to be great at linebacker. I think LSU is arguably the best team in the country at linebacker. The secondary is going to be that linchpin. And the transfers coming in and living up to the hype and living up to the goal and the lofty expectation that have been placed upon them is huge. The other thing that was not mentioned here is the running game. Like, I would put that way in front of if a wide receiver emerges. LSU's got to be able to run the frigging football. Garrett Nussmeier already proved he can throw for 4,000 yards with no running game. You give him a running game and take some of the pressure off of him, that's going to lead to improved decision-making, and it's going to lead to an even better offensive season than he already put forth with zero running game. Now, that goes hand in hand with the offensive line. You're replacing 4 starters. The 4 starters you're replacing all were drafted, and you couldn't run the ball behind them a year ago. You're better at running back. But is the scheme going to be better understood, better called, better installed than it was a year ago to lead to that? Like, those are the two things for me. LSU's got to run the football better, and the secondary's the linchpin. So for me, 2 ifs. That's where I stand. And we won't have the answer to that until LSU starts to play real games. That's not going to be determined in fall camp. Because all we heard a year ago was, oh, they're going to run the ball. You get into the first game, when it really came down to it, they couldn't run the football when they needed to. They're going to have to be able to do that in 2025 if they want to hold that trophy at the end. All right. We'll grab a break. Come back on the other side. Saints, what are the 5 things we're watching in training camp? Give you a bit of a preview next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like, when some companies say, we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, like, that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes 2 to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. Takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, welcome back in. After further review here on a Tuesday, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. The New Orleans Saints, they reported to training camp here on Tuesday. They hit the practice field for the first time on Wednesday. Obviously, the big news surrounding that was the retirement of Tyrann Mathieu. We've touched on that early, and we'll touch on it actually a little bit here. What I want to do, though, is give you five things that I am watching for here in Saints training camp. Before we get into that, Mickey Loomis, he met with the media today, Saints GM, and talked about the overall vibe around the team, around the franchise heading into this camp.
Yeah, I think, man, there's an excitement about having, new coaching staff and a lot of changes. We have the quarterback battle that we're going to be observing during this training camp. I think that's exciting to have. There's a lot of newness about that, and I'm really excited about how the offseason went. Excited about Kellen and his staff, and I'm just anxious to get going and see how it all unfolds.
A couple other notes just from the press conference today between Loomis and Kellen Moore. Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill, they'll both officially start training camp on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. That's not overall surprising, but that is now official that they will do that. Mickey Loomis did call the quarterback battle a quote, coach's decision. But that is kind of where we start. When you look at the 5 things, we start with the quarterback battle, obviously. I mean, it's not breaking news. But for me, it's the reps. Like, that's what I really care about here. Because each time I filled in with Matt, and we've talked about this, I've made no bones about it, that I think it's Tyler Shuck's job. Like, I just do. Them giving him the fully guaranteed contract only kind of exacerbates that. But, I mean, that coaches like to bring their guy in. Kellen Moore brought him in. So, for me, it's the reps. Kellen Moore talked about the reps would be divvied up evenly between 3. Haener, Rattler, Shuck. I think everyone largely assumes this is a Shuck-Rattler battle, which it is. But they're going to give Haener equal first-team reps up until the first preseason game against the Chargers. And that's where this quarterback this quarterback competition really takes the turn. Do the reps change and how significantly after that game? Because actions speak louder than words, and that's how you will really tell who is the guy, who is the leader in this competition. If they come out of that preseason game against the Chargers and they're still divvying up reps evenly, you just keep going throughout. I mean, that's going to be your telltale sign of how true of a competition is this really. So they'll divide them up 3 ways, but that's ultimately what you want to see there. Mickey Loomis on the quarterback battle.
I think there's so many variables that it's kind of hard to just sit here and dictate them. I thought we saw a lot of good things during the off season, and yet, we're not playing tackle football in the off season. So I think these, this training camp period, particularly the preseason games, are going to be really important in determining who the starter is.
Yes, they will. Thank you, Mickey Loomis. On the number 2, we'll just set that aside. Let Mick get us out there, right? On the number 2, and this is one that I'm surprised isn't being talked about as much. And it's running back behind Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is 29 years old. That is ancient when it comes to an NFL running back. And while Kamara was productive a season ago, specifically running the football, he played only 14 games. He missed the final 3. Injuries crept up again, as they have really the last handful of seasons for AK. What do you have behind him? How you get Alvin Kamara to maximize himself where he can really play a full season again is having someone to spell him. And I think, man, look, what you have is bodies, and everyone's going to turn to Kendre Miller. And all eyes should go there. It's a guy you spent a 3rd-round pick on in 2023. It's a guy with a lot of promise, a lot of upside, but it's a guy who has not been able to stay healthy either. We all remember Dennis Allen's line. It's hard to make the team from the training room. It was the first day of camp a year ago. I think the animosity between Kendre Miller and Dennis Allen also hampered Kendre Miller's production as well. It puts a lot of unneeded pressure on a guy going into his 2nd season in the NFL. But what it is 14 games so far in 2 years. Can he finally take the next step? If he stays healthy, and that's the big if, can he take the next step and give you that guy behind Alvin Kamara that you so desperately need? The running game is just a massive, massive, massive part of Kellen Moore's offense. I think with the retooling of the offensive line that you have done, it sets you up to better run the football. But you have to have a body behind Alvin Kamara or a couple. You're looking at Miller, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Devin Neal, your 6th-round pick, who I get a lot of people are high on. And maybe he can emerge and burst on the scene as a rookie. But for me, I think it really hones in on Kendre Miller. That guy's got to prove he can stay healthy and prove he can be a productive back for the New Orleans Saints. This is a massive training camp for him. And if it doesn't go well, the questions of behind Alvin Kamara are even bigger. Number 3, safety. Now with Tyrann Mathieu retiring, Jonas Sanker, let's see what you got. And this kind of dovetails into number 4. But this is a guy the Saints spent a third-round pick on, a top 100 selection, who they felt fortunate was still available for them at pick 93. It's a guy who's already gotten some buzz throughout OTAs and minicamp. Okay, can he burst on the scene as a rookie? Well, now he has a golden opportunity. And I talked about this earlier when we were kind of rehashing what's next at safety. For me, it's Jonas Sanker earning that job as a rookie, and you bring in a veteran depth piece. Because ultimately, that would set you up for better success in the future if you're the New Orleans Saints as well. Having Jonas Sanker be out there as a rookie, hopefully play a full season and set himself up to launch himself into the safety ranks of the NFL as a second-year player. But safety is a massive question now. And the other part of that is who they add in training camp, because they will add somebody, 100%. They will do that, because right now you're looking at 4 safeties, basically, and that's it. It's not a lot of depth. But the safety position, absolutely. Now you're keeping a huge eye on that. And Jonas Sanker, first and foremost for me. Now, I said that kind of dovetails into number 4, because number 4 for me is the defensive rookies. Man, you haven't gotten to see them at their best because they played 7-on-7 throughout the entirety of the offseason so far. Now the pads are coming on. I don't know about y'all. I'm fired up to see Danny Stutzman in pads and go out there and hit somebody, because the physicality and the tackling is what stands out about that kid first and foremost. Jonas Sanker in that number as well. Hopefully Quincy Riley's healthy now and he can get out there and put on the pads, and you can see what you have there at cornerback. Even a guy like Vernon Broughton. Now he's going to be fighting in a very crowded room along the defensive line. But now that those guys can finally get out there, play physical football, have some 11-on-11s in pad periods, let's see what they have. Because I think each of them can have a role for the New Orleans Saints here in 2025. Again with Broughton, his former college D-line coach, Bo Davis, is now the New Orleans Saints defensive line coach. You don't think there's potentially a role for that guy? I do. So I'm fired up. I can't wait to see the rookies on defense, because that's really where the question mark remains in the rookie class. Or I should say the biggest question mark remains in the rookie class. Lastly is Trevor Penning on the offensive line. And your offensive line as a whole. Rookies getting into pads, that applies to Kelvin Banks. But now that these guys can actually go out there and hit, let's see how that new structure, that new combination up front works. And if they finally figured out the role for Trevor Penning. Everybody thinks he projects so much better as a guard, and I get it. I think so too. It makes a lot of sense. Just from his size, the physicality, him being best in the run game, like all of that makes a lot of sense. But now, this is his first foray into playing that position in the NFL. The pads will come on for the first time. How much does he take to that position? And the same deal with Kelvin Banks. Can he play left tackle? They've had him there since rookie minicamp. Do you end up having to flip Taliesin Fuanga back over there? Do you just flip-flop him? There's a lot of questions there as well. But overall, I think the New Orleans Saints have really found their best combination on the offensive line, but training camp will prove it. And I'm fired up to see it as well. There you go. Those are 5 things. 5 things I'm looking for now in Saints training camp. How much of a difference will it make to the outcome of the season? I don't know, but it could make a world of difference 1-2 years down the road for the Saints, when hopefully they are competing for the division again and maybe even something bigger. All right, let's grab a break. We'll come back on the other side. It's After Further Review, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll talk some college football playoff. Tony Petitti at Big 12 Media Days. He gave his thoughts. We'll dive into him, I should say, next year on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well If you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
All right, back here after further review. We'll move pretty quickly in this segment, but I did want to talk about this. Big Ten Media Day is underway up in Indianapolis here on Tuesday. Before Media Days kicked off, though, Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, gave a one-on-one interview to Ross Dellinger over at Yahoo Sports and talked about college football playoff expansion. And that has been the hottest topic of the college football offseason. I mean, with respect to NIL and rev share and the House settlement and all that mumbo-jumbo, college football playoff expansion is what everybody really wants to talk about because no one's happy with college football's offseason. I mean, postseason. Shocker. No one's ever happy with college football's postseason. Tony Petitti and the Big Ten, they are really the last conference standing that's pushing for the 4-4-2-2-1 model. The SEC has even kind of, brought themselves back with help of their coaches pushing back on that model to the 5+11. Obviously, the ACC, the Big 12. I mean, Brett Yormark from the Big 12 has been the most outspoken in wanting 5+11. But Tony Petitti and the Big Ten, they've still hitched their wagon to the the 4 automatic qualifiers. He talked to Ross Dellinger about getting on a Zoom meeting and, they're going through all the potential changes to the criteria and the data that is used in the selection committee. And he says, quote, I found myself sitting there thinking that play-in games seem so rational as we look at folks talk about points and subtracting numbers and adding numbers. I'm thinking this is the rational system and the one where we play games is radical. I love the idea of play-in games. I really do. I think that is awesome. I think that could be a great thing to replace conference championship weekends. I understand that's a money grab in TV, and I get that. But how about selling more games with huge implications on one weekend for a TV contract? That seems like it could bring in a lot of money to me, too. The problem is you would have to find the right cutoff of where teams are actually worthy when it comes to play-in games. Because what you don't want is having a team that's 5-3 in the SEC or multiple teams that are 5-3 in the SEC potentially having the play-in opportunity there. Or a team potentially with a losing record having a play-in opportunity there. Like, that's what you don't want. I'm with Tony Petitti on play-in games. I think that would be awesome. It keeps more teams interested longer, engaged longer, more teams in the fight longer. That's all what everyone wants. So I think that's great. Where I stray from him is his comments on the committee. And he's sticking to that 4 because he wants guaranteed the 4 spots. And I get it. He's stumping for his league, and that's his job, and I 100% understand that. But it's the conversation about the playoff committee and the selection process where I stray from Petitti's line of thinking. He says, quote, let me set it up actually first. He doesn't want more data given to the committee, right? Like strength of schedule. People want that to be factored in more, which it's no surprise he doesn't. Most of the teams in that league play 3 cupcake games, and that would hurt them, even with your 9 conference game schedule. Strength of record, all of those things. Like he doesn't want more data to the committee. So he says, quote, it's not that we think the selection committee does a poor job. I'm just not sure how you make it better. The more teams you add, the more tough decisions you create. We're going to give the committee more to do. What's the reason to do that? Giving them more work to do and more discretion? So first of all, the committee does do a poor job, but it's not their fault. They don't have a set criteria. It changes every year. This was something that was huge coming out of SEC spring meetings. It was mentioned by multiple coaches. Brian Kelly brought it up. Kalen DeBoer brought it up. Lane Kiffin brought it up. That the that college football can't have like an RPI or a net ranking because they don't play enough games. You notice in men's and women's basketball, in NCAA baseball, do you notice how we don't spend the entirety of the regular season complaining about the committee? They have selection committees, but they have set criteria. You know this is going to help your ranking. This is going to help that. And I get it. You can't have that type of ranking like an RPI. I understand. But that doesn't mean you can't have criteria set where you know, okay, this is what's going to be factored in by the committee. This is how you need to build your resume. And then you let them make the tough decisions. That can be factored in. Like that can happen. It's not impossible. It's done in every other sport in college. And while people might have gripes about it, you accept it and you move on. Because you say, this is what it comes down to, and we didn't perform well enough in these metrics, and you didn't get in. Okay, can everyone live with that? That's what's going to have to be done. Don't pawn this off on the selection committee and say, oh, we don't think they do a poor job. No, they do it. They're awful. They do a very poor job. But their set of criteria changes each year. So I can understand and say, oh, we want to give them more. No, it's not that you want to give them more. You want to give them, hey, this is what we're doing. Go make your decision. Hey, commissioners. Hey, ADs. Hey, coaches. This is what we're doing. Build your schedules. How many conference games you're going to play based off of this? Make these games that LSU and Texas and Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama are playing actually matter. And don't just incentivize everybody to go play nothing but cupcakes in the non-conference. In terms of what you want to do in expansion, yeah, 5 plus 11 makes a lot of sense if you're not going to have play-in games. Like, that is the route. And Tony Petitti, while he's still in favor of the 4-4-2-2-1, he did mention in this article with Ross Dellinger that 5-11 can't even begin to be considered by the Big Ten until leagues decide they're going to play equitable conference game schedules uniform throughout college football. So, you know what that means? Once the SEC officially moves to 9 games, you could possibly be looking at 5-11 for 16 teams. It sounds like you're not getting expansion in 2026 either, which I'm okay with. But what you have to do is better set up the selection committee with a set bunch of criteria that doesn't change. What do you think's the best way to evaluate football teams? Make that known so programs can better equip themselves to meet that criteria. And if you want to keep the committee, let them decide. But don't keep changing things up on them. Or just bring back the BCS and let that determine who's in the playoff. Selection process for that was fine. You only had 2 teams. That was your issue. Now you have 12, and you could have 16. Tony Petitti on the college football playoff and expansion. We're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. Tigers and the Pros to close out hour 2. Stay here.
After further review.
Love telling you about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, but something that I really want to stress, especially with Mother's Day coming up this weekend. So Goodwood is also partnered and owned by Unique Physique, and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. So the 3-in-1 will have a full service and complimentary health services plan there with aesthetics, and, of course, hormone therapy and all the likes. Well, if you go to shopwithmatt.com, my name, shopwithmatt.com, they are pre-selling at incredible discounts products and services for unique aesthetics. Botox, skin tightening and lifting, of course, gift cards, laser, hair removal, other things like body contouring, sculpting, filler, all the micro needling. And right now, the lowest prices you will see. Shopwithmatt.com. Use the code UPLoyal10.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
It was my pleasure this week to welcome our new partner on to After Further Review, Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, great partnership as well as the official championship health partner of LSU. When you think who takes care of the LSU athletes, well, it's Our Lady of the Lake and the physicians there. Game-changing care, keeps athletes at their best, builds stronger, healthier Louisiana for all of us at every level. I've told you about my experience throughout my life, living in Baton Rouge at Our Lady of the Lake, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom to helping raise funds through so many different fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital to taking my son to see specialists there at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, to my own personal health. My GP is Dr. Kurt Chastain with Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health. It's good enough for the LSU athletes. It's good enough for me and you, of course. It's Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more at OLOLRMC.com/LSU.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2 here of AFR. We'll do so with Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Obviously, we begin with Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu retires from the NFL here on Tuesday, a 12-year career, 3-time All-Pro first team, 3-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs, and of course finishes his career with the hometown New Orleans Saints after 3 productive seasons in the black and gold. Congratulations and happy retirement to Tyrann Mathieu. Jamal Adams is back in the NFL. The Raiders have signed 3-time Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams on Tuesday, reuniting him with Pete Carroll. How about that? 29 years old. Jamal Adams is. He played his first 4 seasons under Carroll in Seattle. Was very productive in those years. Also a first-team All-Pro back in 2019. We will see now as Adams has amassed 85 career games now with the Raiders. See if he can resurrect his career a little bit. Paul Skeens, 6 shutout innings for the Pirates on Monday night. Allowed 3 hits, a walk, punched out 6, and he got the win. 3-0. See? Was that so hard, Pittsburgh, to just give him 3 runs and he takes you the rest of the way? 5th win of the year for Paul Skeens. It was Kevin Gausman also getting the win. 7 innings, a 1-run ball against the Yankees. His 7th win of the season. He punched out 8. Jake Fraley puts together an awesome night at the plate for the Reds. 2 for 2, a double. He drove in a run as well. Also drew a walk. They were facing the Nationals. Cole Henry got his 3rd hold of the season. 1 shutout inning with a strikeout. And we'll wrap it up with Josh Smith. Josh Smith, 2 for 3 a night ago for the Rangers. He was playing second base, his 17th double of the season. He also scored 2 runs. That is Tigers in the pros. This is After Further Review here on a Tuesday. We're presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, sunequip.com, sunequip.com. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. Sports Center, national headlines, and then Ross Jackson joins the show. What's next for the Saints after Tyrann Mathieu calls it a career? Ross Jackson will tell us that next here on AFR.
After Further Review.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson didn't report to training camp today. He told The Athletic he's training in Jacksonville, Florida for the time being. Hendrickson looking for a long-term deal as he enters the final year of his current contract. The dispute in contract talks, the team is only offering 1 year guaranteed money. Yesterday, team president Mike Brown said dealing with Hendrickson in contract talks isn't so easy sometimes. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
Dealing without him also is going to be not so easy for that defense and that team. You take a defense that struggled with Trey Hendrickson, leading the league in sacks, and take him off that defense, good luck without him on the defensive line.
Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin, also entering the final season of his contract, wants a new deal, did not report to camp today. Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu, tight end Jimmy Graham, both retiring from the NFL. Baseball, San Francisco's Rafael Devers will make his first start at first base tonight against the Braves. His refusal to play first in Boston, a factor in the Red Sox trading him to the Giants.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 3 here of After Further Review, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. Scone's on vacay. He's back Monday. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and glad to have you here as well. If you're just getting in the car, appreciate you making us part of your commute home and of your day. Very, very grateful. First 2 hours flew by, and man, we have a jam-packed hour 3 here as well. Blake Baker was on off the bench this morning with Hester and Flynn. We'll let you hear some of what LSU DC had to say in the next segment. We haven't even gotten to the Saints' new uniforms yet, so we'll have to do that before we get out of here as well. But obviously, the news of the day is Tyrann Mathieu announcing his retirement after 12 years in the NFL, a football legend in the state of Louisiana, the last 3 of those 12 years coming with the New Orleans Saints. It's going to have a ripple effect, obviously, on the 2025 version of the Saints. So we welcome in Ross Jackson, of course, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Saints. He'll kick it around with us here. Ross, we appreciate the time as always, man. How are you?
Hey, man, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to be here with you.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate it, especially on short notice today. But with the news, I mean, could not get you on. Let's just start there. Immediate reaction you had when the Tyrann Mathieu news broke.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a reaction of surprise first and foremost. There were some rumblings over the off season around when Tyrann Mathieu kind of had his contract redone and dropped that base salary down to like $1.5 million. Kind of had this incentive heavy deal, but most of the rumblings were just around that maybe there would be some changes to his playing time and things like that, or bracing for a new role, those types of things, which are logical when a player, makes that kind of decision with an organization. But, retirement was not really a part of anything that was floating around in anyone's mind outside of like a couple of people I talked to, maybe the league owners meetings and things like that, who maybe pondered the idea. But for the most part, when it came down to everything around Tyrann Mathieu, the expectation was that he was going to, be there and a part of that kind of veteran presence for this team going through sort of this transitionary year. But, look, I don't think it's a bad thing that he called it quits. You know what I mean? I think he had a phenomenal career, 12 years, highly decorated player, one of the best players that we've seen from the state of Louisiana and everything as well. Like, what an incredible story. So once you get past sort of the surprise and the awe of it all, I think you immediately get down to the appreciation of us getting to see him play at all, throughout his really highly decorated career.
That's what I was going to kind of ask you next, Ross, because we've all been so aware of Tyrann Mathieu here for so long, whether it was St. Aug, obviously him bursting onto the scene at LSU as an under-recruited guy and his journey at LSU and, how it led to his success in the NFL and the personal stuff in between there. How will you remember Tyrann Mathieu?
Yeah, I mean, the model of managing adversity, right? I mean, he was somebody that was, really successful young college player whose career was challenged a bit on something that many would probably call antiquated now, and, turned all of that into or really came out of all that instead of, woe is me or, kind of, seeing it stifle his ability in the game or anything like that. You saw him turn that around and goes to, these organizations where he becomes a big time, contributor from Arizona to Houston to, winning Super Bowl championships, with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then all of that to be able to bring it all back home and then finish after 3 stellar years, 10 interceptions and over 200 tackles here in New Orleans. It's just a model of adversity or model of really navigating adversity and kind of, playing through those types of hardships and meeting the challenge. And I think that he is just one of those guys that I hope that every young player, whether they're at his position or not, looks at and says, okay, this is how you can keep going no matter what, right? And keep pushing and kind of be that guy that kind of blazes that trail for these players to be able to show them that, the hard times aren't the end times. And so being able to, continue to push the way that he did, I hope is an inspiration to a lot of players that want to do what he did.
Absolutely. I mean, he's one of the easiest guys to root for ever is Tyrann Mathieu. And it was awesome to be able to do that for so long. Okay, what's next? Let's move there. I know it's still pretty fresh here, right? Obviously day of, but what does this mean for the Saints first in terms of salary cap with Tyrann Mathieu hanging it up both, I guess, for 25 and obviously he had all those void years on the back of his deal as well.
Yeah, so we'll have to see exactly how all the cap numbers kind of, settle out in terms of how all of this kind of processes and everything. But there will be some cap amounts that end up accelerating when it comes to his deal. There will be some things that end up dropping off because a lot of the incentives that he had were playtime incentives. And because he played so much of last season, he had a couple of games that, he got hurt and couldn't finish those games. But for the most part, he was out there. And so a lot of those incentives will be considered what are called likely to be earned. And so those likely to be earned incentives typically count against the salary cap in the present year, whereas not likely to be earned incentives are effectively accounted for after they're earned on the next year's salary cap. So they operate a little bit differently in that way. And so I think depending upon how some of those designations work out and what that, what accelerates and all those other pieces that we could see, a little bit of savings for the Saints, but then also a little bit of dead cap that's going to accelerate for them. But the good news is that they sit with still a pretty comfortable amount of salary cap despite all that. And so it helps them out a little bit to be able to absorb a bit of that as, this continues to move forward for them. So we'll have to wait and see how everything kind of, pans out for them or gets accounted for rather. And so that will end up making the kind of designation there in terms of what happens to the salary cap. Still have to wait and see.
Obviously, want to talk about the depth at the position remaining, and Mickey Loomis today, when he met with the media, in his own way, said that yes, they'll explore free agent options there. We'll get to that, but in the immediacy with training camp, the first practice tomorrow, how big of an opportunity is this for Jonas Sanker?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, this is a guy that they're very excited about. This is a player that, during his time at Virginia was a born and bred leader. He's a born and bred leader in his own home as well. I mean, he's got an incredible story behind him and everything. He's got an incredible family unit behind him. And so him, kind of walking into this newfound opportunity should be something that ignites him a little bit. And now getting the opportunity to potentially try to earn that position next to Justin Reed, I think is a really, really open opportunity for him. And I would include, Jordan Howden in that measure as well. But I think the thing for Jonas Sanker that makes it so exciting for him is that he's so versatile, and you can utilize him in a variety of different ways, which fits perfectly with Brandon Staley's defense and the way that he wants to disguise. Him and Justin Reed can both cover. They can both play down in the box. They can both play in the slot. I mean, there's just so much that these guys can do. And so I think that there's a little bit of an advantage in Sanker's case because of when this happened. And what opportunities he has in what the demands of the defense are going to be, because he has such an eclectic skill set that he's going to be a pretty exciting piece for Brandon Staley. So I think this is a massive opportunity for rookie Jonas Sanker.
Do you think this is a spot where the Saints really kind of push their chips into that corner of it? Like, okay, let's let Jonas Sanker go out there and win this job. And what we add in free agency is just a veteran depth piece in hopes that, okay, you took Jonas Sanker in the third round. They were excited to see him still be available when they got him at pick 93. Mm-hmm. Or is this, let's go out, get the veteran guy that we know can still come in and play?
I think you entertain the veteran market, but you're not desperate in the veteran market. And so, there are some of those veterans out there that they could potentially pursue. But I think right now, with them starting training camp tomorrow, this is kind of what I was alluding to when I mentioned that, like, Sanker's at a little bit of an advantage here because of the timing of all this. That, you're able to just kind of now roll right into training camp if you're Jonas Sanker. And so I think that they'll get a good look at him early on here, but then I'm sure that they'll be looking at the market, seeing what's available. They've got him. They've got Jordan Howden. They also signed Terrell Burgess earlier this offseason. He's another versatile safety guy with some experience with Brandon Staley. They've got Ugo Amadi already in the building. They also added Elliot Davison from who was UTSA, coming as an undrafted free agent. So they have some of these interesting sort of young safety pieces that they can get a look at early. And then if those guys stand out and they feel really good about where things are headed there, then, they can continue to push forward with one of those young guys and potentially Jonas Sanker, the rookie. Or if that's not the case, then, they have the opportunity to go to the market and see what's available there.
Any names in the free agent market jump out to you that you could see the Saints having interest in?
Yeah, I think, the first one that's going to jump to mind naturally because they had interest in him last year, brought him in for a visit and everything, was safety Justin Simmons. He's, again, available. Now, he ended up signing with the Atlanta Falcons last year, didn't have the strongest season in Atlanta last year. And so, maybe they're not looking at him the way that they looked at him last season. But he's certainly a name to watch. Julian Blackman's still available. Quadre Diggs former Titan safety just got cleared to play again. So there are a few of these veteran players, a lot of pluses and minuses to each one of them and everything, but there are absolutely those players out there that they could potentially look at and see about bringing in, whether just to get a look at him in training camp or see if he could potentially take a starting role.
No Marcus Williams reunion, Ross?
Oh, maybe a Marcus Williams reunion, I suppose. I don't know. I think Brandon Staley's defense, though, is one that requires a little bit more disguise at the safety position, and Marcus Williams doesn't really bring that. He's kind of quintessential deep safety, not somebody you want playing down in the box. He's had tackling woes his entire career and all those other things. And so I think with him kind of being a little one-dimensional in terms of the way that he's been utilized, unless he's grown in those other areas, which is perfectly possible, I don't know that he's necessarily a fit for Brandon Staley's defense.
I was mainly kidding, but I do appreciate the I do appreciate the thorough answer, Ross. That's why you're the best. Like that's why we bring you on all the time, man. Right there. Yeah, we'll see what they do. I said it earlier. I really hope that it is kind of like, man, Jonas Sanker, go take hold of this, and what they need to add is a depth piece to kind of help them out there. So, I think that'd be for the immediacy and the future of the team and the franchise, I think that'd be honestly one of the best case scenarios. He is Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. You can get him on Twitter, X, at Ross Jackson NOLA. Of course, Locked On Saints. Go read his stuff. Go subscribe to the pod. He's great. And we appreciate the time as always, Ross. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on. You take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you here soon.
Absolutely. That is Ross Jackson. This is After Further Review. It is a Tuesday. We're presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, sunequip.com, sunequip.com. We're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side of that. Blake Baker, he was on Off the Bench this morning with Hester and Flynn. We'll let you hear from the LSU DC. A couple things really stood out to me that I want to give you some thoughts on. So that's next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana, make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association at Parish Construction and Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers and call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
Blake Baker was on Off the Bench this morning with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. Great conversation. Guys spent about 16 minutes or so with Coach Baker. If you missed it this morning, obviously OTB On Demand podcast, the OTB LSU YouTube channel, all of those things where you can find it. I recommend you go listen to the entire thing. But there were a couple things that really stood out to me in kind of the entirety of the 16-plus minute conversation. And one of them, again, LSU will open camp here, I believe, next week, actually, as a matter of fact. One of the things that really stood out was the guys asked Blake Baker the position group he would be keeping the closest eye on, or that he'd be watching the most early in training camp.
It's probably twofold. I think the safeties, especially with A.J. Halsey coming in, most of the guys we had through spring practice, so you have somewhat of an expectation of those guys going into the fall camp. And the defensive tackle position, same thing. We got some new guys that weren't here in the spring when you look at Bernard and the two freshmen, Buddy Mathis and Brandon Brown. But overall, I'd say the safety position is probably what I'll be in most interested in, and seeing how those guys gel. I think you have to have such chemistry back there together, and we've been mixing and matching them this summer, and I think it'll be an intriguing position battle.
There should be no surprise there, for what it's worth. I mean, LSU a season ago was 76th in pass defense. The safety position isn't solely responsible for that. I mean, it's a group effort, pass rush, your corners, and all of that. But it was a weak spot. It was the weakest spot for LSU. It's why you saw them go out there and get Tamarcus Cooley. You heard Blake Baker mention A.J. Halsey. Monsor Delane even has some versatility to potentially play some safety, and you have some good depth pieces there. It's the position that's the linchpin for LSU's defense this year, like the one that really has to make the jump for them to get to where they want to be, to put that defense in a position to play, to get them to where they want to be, if that makes any sense. So it shouldn't be a surprise. That's where Blake Baker's answer went. I mean, I think that's where many of y'all's answers would go. That's where my answer would go when you talk about the defensive side of the ball. But in terms of what you're really looking for there, I mean, some physicality at the safety position I think would be absolutely fantastic. Look, you expect a little bit more of that with Jordan Gilbert's shoulder being healed, but tackling at the safety position for LSU was a big issue. And you're hopeful that guys like Halsey and Cooley and now a healthy Gilbert, and even behind them, I should say, can really take that group to the next level. Because the one thing LSU has is depth there. You have the quality frontline guys, or at least you assume, you expect now to have the quality frontline guys, because you wouldn't address that in the portal. You have a veteran in Gilbert, but you also have some really promising young talent behind it. Like, I will continue to go back to Deshaun Spears. I think you could see a potential breakout season for a guy like Deshaun Spears this year when he gets his opportunity to play. Look, I think everyone's expecting some combination of Halsey and Gilbert to be out there as your starting guys. But there is opportunity for rotation. And Deshaun Spears is really the guy that I really hone in on. You have Toviano, you have Rogers, you have those guys as well. But Spears was the number 3 safety, a 5-star coming out of Denham Springs in the class of 2024. And before you went and added the guys that you did, in the portal, and Halsey and Cooley and things like that. Deshaun Spears was your second highest graded safety returning. So it's in there. So I like that aspect of that room a lot too. But it absolutely is the safety position. Because that's the one thing you're really missing on this defense. Said earlier in the show, I think LSU arguably is the best at linebacker in the entire country. Arguably. And I think the defensive line can really be a strength for you. Safety's gonna have to really watch that. The other thing, or I should say one of the other things that Blake Baker said that I found very, very interesting, because it just kind of drives home something that Brian Kelly has been talking about all offseason, and that's how they're treating the Clemson game. And that wasn't the question that was asked of Coach Baker. This was Matt Flynn that asked the question. He asked it about install and when your installation switches to game plan. And listen to what Blake Baker said right at the start, just offered up on his own free will.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? And I think that's the coolest thing about Coach Kelly, man. He's always learning. He's always adapting. I think he does it year to year based off the opponent. Also, who is on our current roster. And I think we have a very mature roster that can handle, us. Some when you have a young team, sometimes you can build it up too much, right? And so I think he does a fantastic job with that. But I'm excited about it. I know we're doing some things differently in fall camp, and we haven't gotten necessarily into the nuts and bolts of what those things are going to be. But, again, I think it's just created a little more sense of urgency with our guys, too.
I wanted to play that one, but that's my fault. I didn't want to play that one right there. I gave Jordan the wrong cut. Jordan, let's go to number 3. This was the question about install and when install flips to game plan. Okay, no problem. We're getting that cut for you here. Again, that's on me. That one's my bad there. I do want to come back to what he said in that cut about the Clemson game because it ties into another one that we were going to play. But here's when install flips to game preparation.
To be honest with you, that last week of spring ball, we started introducing, Clemson and some of their base plays and honestly some of their problem plays just to kind of get a look at what we think we might like going into fall camp. So, yeah, and I think, Coach Kelly's been open and talked about it. It's something that we've talked about with our guys throughout spring, throughout summer. So I think, from a base installation standpoint, we'll be very similar to really how we were in the spring and how the summer. And then once we start getting into probably about week 2.5, we'll really start probably flipping that switch a little bit.
How about that? The end of spring, they were already looking at Clemson. Some of their base plays, but he said even some of the problem plays. Like that, we've heard Brian Kelly throughout the offseason talk about, there's paw prints everywhere and 1-0, and like they are not running from the opponent. They're not making any bones about who they're playing. Like, we know it is about Clemson, but taking it as far as, man, in spring practice, they're working on Clemson already. And Blake Baker tells you that allows them to help kind of keep it to a similar time frame here in the fall. We're about 2.5 weeks into camp. You could see that really start to shift again, kind of like it did in spring. And then that kind of ties into the cut we played before that about the emphasis on the Clemson game. And the thing that I loved he said there was the maturity of the team. Because when Brian Kelly first talked about this in the offseason, I was filling in for Matt, and we talked about it here on the show. And I said, man, you know what? I don't hate that they're doing that, but it does bother me because anytime you put the emphasis on one game so much, you run the risk of that taking on so much importance that it makes it harder to bounce back from it if it doesn't go well. We saw it for years under Les Miles with the Alabama game. But Blake Baker talking about the maturity of the team, that they think they have a team that can handle that. And he even said, with young guys, you run the risk there. It becomes too big. It's harder to bounce back, all those things. That's huge. And it plays into another conversation that he had with the guys about the combination of personalities that are on not only this LSU team, but are on this defense and how important that can be for them here in 2025.
I think it's probably spread out across the board like you just talked about when You've got a really, really good, strong group of upperclassmen mixed in with some younger classmen that have played some football as well. But those guys, they spend more time in the weight room and out on the field running 110s than they do, in practice, especially this time of year. So to see those guys in that leadership, getting out there for some team runs this summer and watching them, man, it's imperative. And the unselfishness, again, we have a lot of really good players, in my opinion, but they're all bought into one common goal. So that makes it we got a chance to have a special unit based off of those things.
The importance of that, to me, cannot be overstated. And I know it sounds really simple to say. Obviously, like, well, yeah, of course you want your team to get along, right? But it's just not always the case in the transfer portal era. And when you have guys like Whit Weeks on that defense, and you're able to bring in a guy like a Jack Pyburn, right, who just from day one was loud and vocal around his teammates and is a guy they consider a leader, that helps acclimate everyone else you brought into the transfer portal in. And a lot of the credit goes to the staff as well. They're out there in the portal. They're looking for that. They know what they're looking for. Blake Baker, he talked a little bit about that, about how, man, it starts. You have a relationship with a coach. It's probably on staff over there where the player's coming from, and you talk to them and you see who's going to best fit your culture. You've heard Brian Kelly talk about part of the transfer portal and being able to go and be aggressive in it is establishing the culture at the program that you were at. And he had to do that. And it's not always going to work. The team is not always going to gel, and it's not always going to be the perfect chemistry. Bringing in this influx of new guys, you're bringing in new egos. These guys, a lot of times, are coming from a smaller school. Not every time, but a lot of the time, they were one of the best at that school. And they're seeking a bigger stage and a bigger opportunity. Sometimes it's not going to jive. It sounds like it has very much with this LSU team. And it's not just the coaches saying it, it's the players. But you have a great mix of the leadership, the rah-rah guy, if you will, with everybody else, and it can help focus you when you buy into the culture on that one common goal. And that's where you look at this and go, okay, it's the combination of personalities that help lead to the maturity of your football team that ease the concern a little bit about putting so much emphasis on this opener. Like, we have to go out there and win this opener. I mean, that's what they're saying in there. And that helps ease the concern about it. What if it doesn't go well? Because, y'all, there's a chance. There's a really good chance it doesn't go well. But if you have that strong foundation, you have that strong culture and the understanding of, man, it's going to clear your path a little bit, but it doesn't derail your goals. That is absolutely huge. And lastly, from Blake Baker, the obligatory Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks question. We know they're cleared, but he did go in depth about how they plan to be pretty careful and have a detailed plan about how they're going to use Perkins and Weeks in training camp after they come back from these injuries.
We're obviously going to be smart with them in fall camp, and they can't be too big of a meathead where, like, no, coach, I'm good, and you're really not. So it's something, when you talk about kind of position group-wise, like who I'm going to be making sure I'm paying attention to, I'll definitely, and it helps having experience with both those guys with making sure that they look crisp. And with today's technology and everything, and with GPSs, we can find out very, very quickly from an analytical standpoint as well. But they've had outstanding summers. Both are moving at full speed, and again, we're smart with the volume, especially early on with them.
It'll be very interesting to watch. I mean, you expect big seasons from both of those guys, Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks, especially with Perk kind of more in that star role this year where everybody thinks that he will flourish. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. A couple more segments to go here on AFR. It's presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-001-752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but like none of it, like I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, like they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
With bold leadership and a growing population, Louisiana is rewarding excellence, attracting high-value companies, and fueling opportunity. Louisiana is winning now, and the sky is the limit. With every region and industry growing across a beautiful state that's more than a culture, it's a community with a quality of life that's more than satisfying. It's sustainable because the Louisiana you thought you knew is better than ever now. Come home, Louisiana.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
All right, so a few weeks ago, filling in for Matt, and we had a report that the Saints were going to unveil a new uniform on July 22nd. We kicked it around here on the show and kind of came to the consensus that it was going to be a gold jersey because what else were they going to do? They kind of have everything else covered already. And today, the Saints released a new uniform, and it was, in fact, a gold jersey. The combination, the black helmet that nobody likes, the new gold jersey, and the black pants that they wear with the black jerseys. I have thoughts. Jordan, Paul, I want y'all's thoughts here as well. Let me just say, in a vacuum, I think the jersey is good. In a vacuum, the jersey itself is good. I, like most everyone, wish Nike's gold color was darker and was better. But in a vacuum, the jersey's fine. Like, the Saints, it's the white jersey, it's the black jersey, it's just gold. Like, okay, that's fine. I can live with that. The whole uniform together, I don't like at all. I think it's ugly and gaudy. When we had that conversation about this announcement coming, the report about this announcement coming, I said, I'm great with the gold jersey, but I think it would be better suited with like a white helmet and white pants with the gold jersey. Like, for instance, take the gold pants that the Saints wear, make them white, leave the two black stripes and the white stripe in the middle, just make that gold, and I think you have an absolutely awesome pair of uniform pants that would look great with a gold jersey. The gaudiness of uniforms, I just can't stand. And the black helmet's terrible. Like, does this uniform make it a little bit better? Sure. It makes it a little bit more tolerable. But the problem with the black helmet isn't the uniform that it was ever being worn with. It's just that the black helmet sucks. It's not good. They ruined something very easy there as well. So, in a vacuum, I like the jersey. I think it was executed well. I love the idea of a gold jersey. The uniform they're going to wear with it, I don't think is very good at all because I think the pants stink. I think the helmet stinks. And I think it's just overly gaudy and it kind of hurts my eyes to look at. Jordan, Paul, thoughts on the Saints uniforms? Would love all your thoughts too. Put them in the YouTube chat, Bayou4 YouTube chat, or tweet them at me at Musso Mathieu.
Well, as a young brother, I like, a lot of people hate the LSU. I like all that type of stuff. Like, I feel like for the younger, well, not going to stay on LSU because, that's all about recruiting and whatnot. But I like it because it's one of those combinations. Well, I'll tell you like this, man. They've been selling those gold jerseys in, like, Dick's Sporting Goods and all that throughout New Orleans. So, and it might be, I think in the Mall, Louisiana, too, they've been selling those jerseys. So that's why I'm not like, oh, man, the gold color, because that's exactly the same jersey that they were selling in Dick's Sporting Goods a couple years back. I'm a little mad I didn't buy one because I could have got it for the cheap back then because I would have been like, oh,
Facts.
Yeah, you got a fake jersey. I didn't want to be the guy, oh, you got a fake gold jersey and all this. So I like it. I'll tell you this. For the black helmet, I enjoy that you finally just can retire that black helmet with the all whites. Like, even though you retired it with the white helmets, just give it something. I would have liked it. I think the black helmets would look a lot better with all black. If they put it on with all black, I don't know why they keep tiptoeing around that and not executing that type of uniform, but it's okay. It's not like I'm jumping on my socks about it, but it's cool. We're gonna be in style when we lose, so we got something. We got something to look forward to.
With the black helmet, I mean, yeah, you're right. Even solid black would look better, but it feels
all black would be clean.
It feels just so easy to be like, hey, take the gold one, make it black, and change the colors of the stripes to match it. And it's like, oh, look, that looks great. So I don't know.
Solid black helmet would have did a lot better than
it would have
pattern or the white chin strap. I don't understand the white chin strap with it.
None of that's really good either.
Yeah,
the black helmet's just terrible. Like, it's just, it was a failed experiment and they refused to get rid of it. Paul?
I don't hate it, but I'm with you. I don't like that gold as like a shirt or a jersey. Like, I think that gold is too pale, too
like
dull.
Khaki-ish.
Like I like the gold on the helmet when it's shiny.
Yes.
But like every Saints shirt I own is not that gold. It's either black, white, gray, like some of the neutral colors. But I do think I think this jersey made the black helmet look better. Yeah. I still am not a big fan of the black helmet, but I do think the black and the black pants with the gold jersey is a good look.
It's easier on the eyes now.
Yeah.
It's easier on the eyes than it was with the color rush with the black helmet. It's like, ugh, what are we doing?
The gold, and if you're watching us, you can see it. The gold that's on the fleur-de-lis on the black helmet
That doesn't match.
Is perfect, though.
Yeah.
Like, can we find a way to make that? Like, can someone get with Nike and be like, hey, this is the shade of gold you need to use? Because that is, like, I think that would look great with the, in like a gold jersey. In 2002, when the Saints were the gold jersey, the NFL was with Reebok.
Yeah.
The gold was darker, and it was great. That's why I'm like, yeah, like I see it, and I'm like, okay, I don't like. Do I wish the gold was darker? Yeah, but I don't hate the jersey. Like, I think it was executed to the best of Nike's ability, so I'm fine with that in a vacuum. But in terms of just the gold in general for the Saints that Nike uses, I wish it would be darker. I mean, that's like a yellow gold. That's like it's such a soft color.
And I don't want to be, Captain pessimistic about the Saints, but it's like it kind of feels like a smokescreen this offseason. Like, they give us the new helmets, they give us the new jerseys. Like, hey guys, we're giving all you guys these new things and whatnot, these new toys, just to distract you from the play on the field. So, I guess we can be happy about it. I would have more appreciated these when we were good, to say the least. When we were good, we're gonna be on prime time. All our games are at 12 noon. We're not even gonna see these under the lights. That kind of sucks.
That does kind of suck. That does. Easy E in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat says they look like Vanderbilt.
They do look like Vanderbilt.
They do look like Vanderbilt.
It's the gold. Like, it's not, like Paul said, it's not the gold. It's not the gold.
No,
it's not the gold.
But again, man, it's like, it's that same shade of, it's basically the same shade of gold that Vanderbilt has.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
I mean, and Vanderbilt's a Nike school. So, look, they're not my favorite, mainly because I just think they're ugly and gaudy with the combination that they put in there. I think the gold jersey is strong enough that with a different combination, it could look better. But the only two options are the black, gold, black, or white, gold, white. And because you're not putting that on the gold pants, it wouldn't match. But
see, that's the problem, is because the golds don't match.
Yeah.
So you're limited already what you can wear it with. Just because it's like you can't wear that gold with the regular gold pants they have. You're going to be looking crazy. And with the gold helmet, kind of.
Even if you wore the black helmet with the gold jersey and white pants, that would be awesome. Like, I think that would even look better than
we got to go fire Madden up
than what they're doing right now. With this, like, I really think that. I mean, would it be the best? No, but look at the Buffalo Bills today. And the Bills have, in my opinion, the best uniform in the NFL.
Really? Over the Ravens?
Yes. I love the Buffalo. It is classic. They have that classic look. I get what everybody says about the Packers and whatnot. The Packers' colors are horrible.
I hate the Packers.
Their colors suck.
Yeah, green and yellow.
Like, it doesn't go together.
Yeah.
Red, white, and blue go together, obviously, phenomenally. The Buffalo Bills today brought back the red helmet.
Yeah.
And the picture they posted was of Josh Allen in the red helmet, the blue jersey, and the white pants. And it is freaking perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it is perfect. And I love it. So, like, I wish the Saints could end up doing something like that, but I get it. The Saints don't have a classic look like the Bills do, so they're trying to kind of create that, and that's fine. But it seems like they always just take the easy way out. Like, oh, we have a black helmet. Let's put that with this gold jersey on the black pants that nobody likes. Do you like the black pants, Jordan?
I like when they wear all black.
It's just,
I do like the.
It's horrible.
It's good when we're good. When the Saints are good and they wear the all black, it used to be like, oh, it's about to be a funeral tonight. They're wearing the all black. Like, that used to mean something. Now it's like you come to the dome, you might get routed. So it's like it doesn't have the same oomph that it used to bring.
But aesthetically, the uniform is not good. There's no accent on it. It's like they're just wearing. They might as well just black out the numbers too. Like, there's no gold. It's bad. Those pants could be improved if they just put a stripe down them. But, they just don't do that.
They used to have I think the old school ones had a stripe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did, the old ones.
And they were great.
Yeah, I said the old ones had
so, what could really just solve all this? If, for the main parts of the game, the Saints just wear gold, black, gold. Because that uniform's great as well. But,
Hey, you know what else could solve it too? If they win the first game with the gold jerseys. All they got to do is win. If they win in the gold jerseys, people can be like, these are the best jerseys we got.
Because the only other game they ever worn them was the Dante Culpepper, the 2-point conversion.
That's what I'm saying. So if you start out strong and get a W in those gold jerseys, people are going to turn around to them. I promise you.
We'll see. They'll wear them a few times this year. Maybe I'll feel different when I actually see them on the field in action, but I kind of doubt it. I think it's just a very gaudy look. It reminds me of LSU's gold, purple, gold. It's just and I love the purple jersey, but with that combo, it's just very gaudy. All right, we're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. Ask us to wrap up. Get your questions in. Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can ask us anything about anything. Tweet me at Musso Mathieu. We'll wrap it up with Ask Us next here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G Team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, evermore.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 3, wrapping up the show here on After Further Review. We'll get to Ask Us here momentarily, but it's not just Tyrann Mathieu. Now, Jimmy Graham had confirmed a report that he's going to retire here in the coming days. I was going to talk about that today, but the Tyrann Mathieu news kind of just took precedence. And, I mean, right as we were in that last break, Paul notifies me that Saints tight end Dallin Holker has also retired. Man, we're going to talk plenty about that tomorrow on tomorrow's show when we have a little bit more time. That's a really interesting one. And, man, the Saints paid him a lot of money as an undrafted free agent to just stick around for 1 year and then retire from the NFL. We don't know all the circumstances around that. So, I mean, obviously we'll hold off on making a brash statement there. But that's going to be one that we need to definitely look into. Shea Dixon will also join us tomorrow. Shea was on his way back from vacation today. Shea was still on vacation day. He makes his way back tomorrow, so we just kicked it to tomorrow. So Shea will join us to talk recruiting on tomorrow's episode as well. Let's get to one Ask Us question here while we have like 10 seconds or so. Easy in the Bayou 40 YouTube chat said, ask us mountain or beach vacation. For me, it is beach all day, every day. I've done both. They are both great, but I just love the beach so much that I can't really put anything above that. Beach vacation.
Mountains.
Okay.
Beach. I like both. I don't discriminate.
Jordan's in there for the mountains. Paulie?
I'm going to the beach.
Yeah, man. Beach all day, every day. It's just absolutely fantastic. I wish I was going back at some point this year. All right. That's going to wrap it up here for a Tuesday edition of AFR. Thanks, everybody. Thank you to Ross Jackson. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Paul. Thank you to all of you. Be here next time for more.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. parishrestoration.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.